In this presentation, I'm going to describe the process of constructing an empirical research proposal. So first, let's define a couple of key terms. So a research project has two main phases, the pre-empirical phase and the empirical phase. So if you think about the metaphor that academic writing is like joining a conversation, the pre-empirical phase is like listening. During the pre-empirical phase, you read literature, aka other people's research, and you try to just understand the research context. In other words, you try to understand what research has already been done, what the various scholars have found, and where there's room for more research. This stage leads to your research question, which you will address during your empirical research stage. So thinking about the metaphor of the conversation, once you've listened and read other people's research, you can finally speak, but you don't want to speak out of turn, and you don't want to just make things up. So you need to speak based on your direct experience or observation of the world. However, you're in a research paper, you're using research methods. So you're not just talking about your personal experience, you're using an organized, systematic, and logical process of inquiry using information to answer questions or test hypotheses. In other words, you're trying to have more systematic experiences and observations. For example, you might create a survey of your classmates in order to understand their experiences of the world rather than just casually asking a couple of friends what they think. So casually asking friends what they think is what we would do in normal life, but for research, we need to be more systematic and organized and logical, so we have something like a survey. So the empirical phase is what you do to collect data and present your data. And data is just a term that is used to describe the observable information or direct experience. Okay, so let's think of it in terms of this chart. So the pre-empirical stage is, in other words, what they say, what other people have said. And through it, you're trying to figure out the literature and the context. So when you're reading the literature for an annotated bib or research log, you're trying to identify your research area and your topic. And then you're trying to find out more about the research area and topic so you can present a research question. So let's think about this in context of a real project. So during the pre-empirical stage for a project about writing and creativity, you would be collecting literature on both writing and creativity, and hopefully you'll find literature that looks at both writing and creativity, and that defines your area. But there's going to be a lot about writing creativity, so you have to narrow it. So maybe you notice that there's a lot of work on creativity in professional writing spaces, but not so much in fundraising writing. So you say, okay, that's what I want to do. Notice that your topic does not need to be heavily researched in the literature. Just your area needs to be researched. So that provides you with your research questions. So for example, based on the prior literature, you found that there is a need to answer the question, how do fundraisers define creativity when they describe how they use it to solve problems related at work? And that's what you're going to do. So then you move on to the empirical stage. So again, we were just in the pre-empirical stage where you're reading other people's research and constructing a topic, area, and question.